Hey everyone, welcome back to another episode of Nighttime Mics. I'm Sarah.
And I'm Mike. We're so glad you're tuning in tonight. How's it going, Sarah? You look a little bit tired today. Did you stay up late working on something?
Oh, you caught me. Honestly, Mike, I'm exhausted. I spent about 3 hours today just trying to schedule one single call with a client in a different time zone. It was like a game of chess, but much more frustrating.
Oh, I know that feeling all too well. The scheduling dance, right? It sounds so simple, just picking a time to talk, but it always turns into this huge production.
Exactly. And that's actually what I wanted to talk about today, scheduling calls. It sounds like a boring topic, but when you think about it, we spend so much of our lives doing it. Whether it's for work or just trying to catch up with a friend, it can be a total nightmare.
It really can. I actually read somewhere that the average person spends weeks of their life just sending emails back and forth to find a meeting time. Can you imagine? Weeks.
No way. That is actually depressing. But I believe it. I mean, think about it. You send an email saying, "Are you free Tuesday at 2?" Then they reply on Wednesday saying, "No, but how about Friday?" Then you're busy Friday. It just goes on and on.
It's the worst. And it's even worse when you're dealing with friends. With work, there's a bit of pressure to be professional and quick. But with friends, man, I have friends I've been trying to hop on a quick call with since 2022.
I know, right? The classic, "let's catch up soon," which basically means let's never speak again but feel guilty about it.
Precisely. So let's dive into this. Why is it so hard? For me, I think the biggest problem is the back and forth. You try to be polite so you don't want to demand a specific time, but then being vague just makes everything take longer.
That's a good point. I think we try to be too flexible. I always say, "Oh, I'm free whenever." But whenever is actually the hardest time to schedule because it gives the other person too many choices. Paradox of choice, right?
Totally. If you give me a whole week of options, I'll spend 3 days just looking at my own calendar trying to figure out which one is best. But if you say, "I'm free Thursday at 4 p.m., I can instantly say yes or no. It's much more efficient.
True, but don't you feel a bit, I don't know, bossy? If I just give one time, I feel like I'm saying my time is more important than yours.
I used to feel that way too, but I've realized that most people actually appreciate it. It saves them the mental energy of having to choose. It's like when you're deciding where to eat dinner. If someone says anything, you're there for an hour. If someone says, "let's get tacos," you're eating in 20 minutes.
Tacos are always a good idea. But okay, what about time zones? That's what really tripped me up today. I was talking to someone in Singapore and I'm here in the UK. I had to keep checking the world clock. I almost ended up scheduling a meeting for 3 a.m. my time.
Oh man, I've done that. I once had a job interview with a company in California. I figured out the time difference wrong and I showed up to the Zoom call 3 hours early. I was sitting there in my suit, staring at a blank screen, wondering why they were late. Turns out I was the one who couldn't do math.
No way. That's so embarrassing. Did you stay in the suit for the whole 3 hours?
Honestly, I took the jacket off, ate a sandwich, and then put the jacket back on 5 minutes before the real time. They never knew, but it taught me a lesson. Always use a time zone converter.
Definitely. There are so many apps for that now, yet we still try to do the math in our heads. Why do we do that to ourselves?
I think it's a bit of pride. We think, I'm an adult, I can add 8 hours to 4 p.m., and then we end up at 3 a.m.
It's funny you mention apps, though. What do you think about those scheduling links? You know, like Calendly, where someone sends you a link and says, "pick a time on my calendar."
Oh, this is a controversial one. Some people love them and some people absolutely hate them. Personally, I'm a fan. It saves so much time. You see when they are free, you click, you're done. No emails required.
See, I'm on the fence. I use them for work because it is efficient, but if a friend sent me a Calendly link to schedule a catch-up, I think I'd be a little offended. It feels so corporate, like I'm an appointment, not a friend.
I totally get that. It's a bit cold, isn't it? Please find a 15-minute slot to discuss our friendship. It's not very warm. But I have one friend who is incredibly busy. He's a doctor, and he actually started using one for his social life. At first, we all made fun of him, but then we realized it was the only way we ever actually got to talk to him.
That's interesting. So it actually helped?
It did, because instead of us texting for 3 weeks saying, "Are you off shift?" and him saying, "No, I'm sleeping," we could just see when he was actually awake and free. It took the pressure off. But yeah, for a casual, "How are you?" it feels a bit much.
I guess it's all about the context. If you're trying to set up a business meeting, it's a lifesaver. If you're trying to call your mom, maybe just call her.
Imagine sending your mom a scheduling link. She'd probably call you just to yell at you for being too fancy.
My mom would definitely do that. She doesn't even like it when I text her to ask if she's free. She just calls whenever she feels like it. I'll be in the middle of a meeting and my phone starts vibrating. "Hi, honey, I just wanted to tell you about this bird I saw."
That's so sweet though, but also so stressful. I have a bit of phone anxiety. Does that happen to you? Like if my phone rings and I wasn't expecting it, my heart rate goes up immediately. I always think, who died? What's wrong?
Oh, I know, right? I think our generation has been conditioned to think that an unscheduled call is an emergency. If it's not on the calendar, it's a disaster.
Exactly. I much prefer a text that says, hey, can I call you in 5 minutes? It gives me time to finish what I'm doing, maybe grab a glass of water, and mentally prepare to be social.
I'm the same way. I need that buffer time. But sometimes I wonder if we're losing something because of it, like that spontaneity. Remember when people used to just show up at your house?
Whoa, okay, let's not go back to the dark ages, Sarah. Showing up at someone's house without a text, that's a crime now.
You're right. If someone knocked on my door right now without telling me, I'd probably hide behind the sofa and pretend I'm not home.
I've literally done that. I saw a neighbor coming toward my door and I turned off the lights. It's terrible, but I just wasn't ready for a conversation.
It's funny how we've become so protective of our time, but I think it's because we're so overwhelmed. Between work email, social media, and everything else, a phone call feels like a lot of energy. You have to be on, you know?
I totally get that, especially video calls. Zoom fatigue is a real thing. During the pandemic, it was all we had, but now, if someone asks for a video call when a regular phone call would work, I'm a little annoyed. Why do you need to see my face? I'm wearing a hoodie and I haven't brushed my hair.
Exactly. I feel like I have to perform more on video. On a regular call, I can walk around, I can tidy up the kitchen, I can look at the wall. It's much more relaxed.
I actually find that I think better when I'm walking. If I'm stuck sitting in front of a camera, I feel very stiff. But if I'm on a voice call and I'm pacing around my apartment, the ideas just flow better.
I've noticed that too. I wonder if there's some science behind that. Something about movement helping the brain.
There probably is. We should look that up. But anyway, back to the scheduling. What do you do when someone is constantly rescheduling? You know those people. You finally set a time, and then 10 minutes before they text, "So sorry, something came up, can we push this to next week?"
Ugh, that is my biggest pet peeve. I mean, I understand that life happens. Sometimes things really do come up. But if someone does it 2 or 3 times in a row, I kind of give up. It feels like they don't value my time.
Yeah, it's a respect thing. I had a friend who did that constantly. I'd clear my schedule, turn down other plans, and then boom, the text would arrive. Eventually, I just stopped trying to schedule with him. Now, if we talk, it's because he called me out of the blue and I happen to be free.
That's a good way to handle it. Low expectations. But it's hard when it's someone you really care about. You want to see them, but you don't want to be the only one making an effort.
Right, it's that balance. I think sometimes people overschedule themselves. They think they can do 10 things in a day, and then they realize they're exhausted by the third one, so they start canceling the rest.
I've been guilty of that. I'm a yes person. I say yes to everything on Monday because I'm full of energy. Then by Thursday, I'm like, why did I agree to have a 3-way call with my aunt and my insurance agent at 7 p.m.?
That sounds like a specific kind of nightmare, but I do the same thing. Future Mike is always way more productive and social than current Mike. Current Mike just wants to sit on the couch and watch Netflix.
Future Mike sounds like a superhero. Current Sarah is just tired. But that's a really good point. We need to be more realistic about our social battery.
Definitely. I've started being more honest when scheduling. Instead of just saying I'm busy, I might say, I'm really wiped out this week. Can we talk next Tuesday instead? People usually appreciate the honesty.
That's a great phrase, wiped out. It's very descriptive. And you're right, honesty is better than just making up excuses. I think we often come up with these elaborate lies about why we can't talk. Oh, my cat has a piano lesson. Just say you're tired.
A piano playing cat? I'd actually pay to see that. But yeah, we don't need to make things up. We're all busy. We're all tired.
So, what are your top tips for someone who struggles with this? If someone is listening and they have a mountain of unreturned calls and scheduled meetings that they're dreading, what should they do?
Good question. I think my first tip would be the 2-option rule. Instead of being vague, give 2 specific times. Are you free Wednesday at 10 a.m. or Friday at 2 p.m.? It makes the decision-making process so much faster.
I like that. It's simple but effective. My tip would be the 15-minute default. Most calls don't need to be an hour. If you tell someone, hey, I've only got 15 minutes, but let's chat, it keeps the conversation focused and less daunting.
That's a brilliant one. It's like a sprint for your social life. You get all the good updates without the awkward silences that happen at the 40-minute mark.
Exactly. And my other one would be, don't be afraid of the voice note. Sometimes you don't actually need a call. You can just send a 2-minute voice message. They can listen to it whenever they want and reply when they're free. It's like a phone call, but without the scheduling stress.
Oh, I'm a huge fan of voice notes. Some people hate them because they don't like listening to long ones, but if you keep them under 2 minutes, they're perfect. It's so much more personal than a text. You can hear the person's tone of voice, their laughter. It's great.
I agree. Though I have one friend who sends 10-minute voice notes.
That's not a message, Mike. That's a podcast. Hey, maybe she's just practicing for her own show. But yeah, 10 minutes is a bit much. At that point, you might as well just schedule a call.
True. You know, we've talked a lot about the stress of scheduling, but let's talk about the good side. When a call actually happens and it's a good one, it feels amazing, doesn't it?
It really does. There's something about a real-time conversation that a text message just can't replace. You get those spontaneous moments, a joke that lands perfectly, or a deep realization that only comes out when you're talking out loud.
Absolutely. I had a call with my best friend last week. We hadn't spoken in a month because our schedules were just a mess. We finally found an hour on a Sunday morning. By the end of it, I felt so much lighter. It was like all the stress of the week just melted away.
That's the magic of connection. It's worth the hassle of the scheduling. I think we just need to remember that. The work of setting up the call is just the price we pay for the reward of the conversation.
That's a really nice way to put it. It's an investment.
Exactly. But it's an investment that should be as easy as possible. Oh, that reminds me of another thing. Meeting invites. Do you use those, like on Google Calendar?
Oh, I love them. If it's not on my Google Calendar, it doesn't exist. My brain doesn't store information anymore. I've outsourced my memory to the cloud.
Same here. I always say, send me an invite. If someone says, see you at 3, I will 100% forget. But if my phone pings me 10 minutes before, I'm there. It's such a simple tool, but it really helps figure out your day.
It does. And it prevents that awkward, are we still meeting text? If the invite is still there, the meeting is still on.
Unless they ghost you, that's the worst. Have you ever been ghosted on a call?
Oh, definitely. You're sitting there in the Zoom room, looking at yourself in the camera, fixing your hair. 5 minutes go by, 10 minutes, and then you realize they're just not coming.
It's so awkward. You don't know when to leave. Do you wait 15 minutes, 20? It feels like being stood up on a date, but in your own office.
It really does. I usually give it 10 minutes, then I send a polite, hey, I think we missed each other, let's reschedule when you're free message, and then I bail. I'm not waiting around forever.
Good for you. My limit is 10 minutes too. After that, I'm going to go make coffee and pretend I was never there.
I was never here. That should be the motto for anyone sitting alone in a Zoom room.
Seriously. But you know, another thing that helps with scheduling is having a standing call. Do you have any of those? Like every Monday at 10 a.m. you talk to the same person?
I have one for work, but I've never tried it for personal stuff. Does it work?
It's actually great. I have a standing call with my dad every Sunday at 6 p.m. Because it's scheduled forever, we don't have to talk about when to talk. We just know. If one of us is busy, we just skip that week. It takes away all the back and forth we were talking about earlier.
That's actually a really smart idea. It makes the call a habit rather than a chore. I should try that with my brother. We always say we'll talk, but then months go by.
You should. It really takes the pressure off. It's like a TV show. You know it's on a certain time and you just show up.
I love that. Okay, I'm definitely going to try and set up some standing calls.
Just don't send your brother a Calendly link, okay?
I promise. No corporate tools for my family.
Good, good. Well, Sarah, I think we've covered a lot today. We've talked about the back and forth nightmare, the time zone struggles, the etiquette of scheduling links, and the importance of just being honest about your energy.
We really have. It's a lot more complex than it seems on the surface, isn't it? But I think the main takeaway is that communication is key, even when you're just trying to set up the communication.
Exactly. Be clear, be specific, and don't be afraid to use a time zone converter.
And maybe, just maybe, try a standing call if you're tired of the scheduling dance.
Well said. This was a great talk, Sarah. I actually feel a bit more motivated to go through my own calendar now and clean things up.
Me too. I'm going to go reply to that client in Singapore, carefully. I'll make sure I'm not asking them to talk at 4 a.m. their time.
Good luck with that. And to everyone listening, thanks for hanging out with us on Nighttime Mics. We hope this gave you some useful phrases and maybe made you feel a little less alone in your scheduling struggles.
Definitely. We'd love to hear your stories too. Have you had a scheduling disaster? Or do you have a trick that makes it easy? Let us know.
We'll be back next time with another topic and more casual conversation. Until then, take care and don't let your calendar run your life.
See you next time.
Bye.